Erev Tov, and we wish to bless everyone with the culmination, with the finishing of the Sheva brachas of our children, our son Avram Mordechai and his Kala Chaya Mushka. We want to bless everyone with all your heart's wishes fulfilled for the good. All those that were able to be there and participate physically, all those that were able to participate with their begufam ubemamoinam, with their physical bodies, with their financially. And this is something that we appreciate very much, and we want to thank everyone and bless everyone that there should be many, many more simchas by everyone and in all the families of the participants within the entire Jewish nation. And it should be immediately now with the revelation of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach, Techef Miyad Mamish, 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 immediately now. Our story tonight takes place in the south in Kiryat Gat. Kiryat Gat, there's a beautiful Chabad house there, and the shliach over there is Rabbi Aaron Butbol. And he was Friday afternoon. He was finishing up his last matters, phone calls in the Chabad house, and he was coming home in order to prepare whatever he needed at home for Shabbos. And all of a sudden, across the street, he sees someone. The the name that is given is Ro'i, but that's not the person's real name. And this is a participant that used to used to participate in all the activities of the Chabad house. He used to come regularly to the Shabbat services. He used to come regularly to the Hasidus classes Shabbat morning. And all of a sudden, Rav Aaron, the shliach, he stops for a moment as he's looking across the street, and he's trying to think when he saw this person last. And he's trying to think, and he can't remember, because apparently there has been a very big recess. There's been a break since the person Ro'i, and as we're calling him, has been coming to visit at the Chabad house. So he looks across the street, and he sees, as he's coming closer and closer, he crosses the street. He sees that Ro'i is not with one of the most happiest of faces. And as he looks, he gazes, and he sees that Ro'i is he's without a kippah, without a head covering, as he usually always went with a kippah. And he senses that something is wrong. So the shliach Rav Aaron walks over to Ro'i, and he asks him, how is he doing, and how is everything at home? And then finally he says, excuse me for saying, but it seems that you have a very long face. Is everything okay? And with this, Ro'i felt that he could open up to the shliach, and he started to tell him the following story, that not long ago, like a month ago, they moved their venue from one apartment to another apartment. They packed up all the boxes, and everything arrived into the new apartment, excepting something very small. Very small. What is it? It's their checkbook. As they were moving, apparently their checkbook got lost, and it was not to be found. And if that wasn't enough, it's one thing to go and to replace a checkbook, but all of a sudden, they didn't know that the checkbook was missing for a few days, and they all of a sudden find that there are very large sums that were debited from their account through checks that were signed by whoever found the checkbook. And and they found themselves in very great debt. And that left him in the most non-joyous modes, and due to this, he decided to go into and to strike back. Now, he didn't know who took his checkbook, who found the checkbook, but he knew who's in charge over here. Yeah, he knows that the Holy One, blessed be he, the Eibishter is the one in charge, and since he allowed this kind of thing to happen, so he decided to strike back. So at the beginning, it was not he stopped frequenting the shul, and afterwards he stopped wearing his kippah, and then it went down to the fact that he stopped observing Shabbos. And he's telling all this to Aaron, Rav Aaron Butbol the Shliach, and Rav Aaron tells him, "Listen, it's Friday afternoon. It's Shabbos very soon. Why don't you come over to my house right now, and we'll write the Rebbe for a bracha, and Bezrat Hashem, with the Rebbe's bracha, you can't go wrong." He hesitated, but he knew what what it meant to write the Rebbe and to receive a bracha from the Rebbe. So he decided to take up the invitation, and he went home with Rav Aaron. And when they arrived, so the fellow Roiv, he wrote a letter to the Rebbe. He put the letter into the Igros Kodesh, into the Rebbe's holy letters, and he received an answer from the Rebbe. The reply that he received from the Rebbe was something that basically we can say is probably amazing. It literally. And the Rebbe writes over there in regard to the period of time that we're going through, which is very, very challenging. Not only is it challenging, but the Rebbe uses the very sharp terminology, the choshech kaful umechupal, the period of time in which outside in the world we find a darkness which is doubled and quadrupled. And the Rebbe says, due to this and due to the situation that we are in, the Jewish nation is today, and the Rebbe writes there that what is needed, what is required is the study of Hasidic philosophy. Study of Hasidic philosophy. All of a sudden, Ro'i, the person that wrote the letter, he started to think back to the times, the good old days, when he was coming to the Chabad house, and when he would be coming, especially for Shabbos, and Shabbos he would participate in the classes of Hasidic philosophy, and he remembered, he relished the taste of how sweet the studies, how sweet the learning was when he would participate in the classes. And with this, all of a sudden, he came to the conclusion that he has to start coming back. He has to start coming back to shul, and he immediately asked for the shliach for a kippah, for a head covering to put on his head. And he said that he's making a good resolution that from now on he's going to return to the Chabad house for davening for Shabbos, and for the study of the classes in Hasidic philosophy in Hasidus. In the continuation afterwards, they read, and the Rebbe refers to something which is utmost unbelievable. The Rebbe refers there in the continuation of the letter to a happening of history books which apparently were forged, and the contents of the history books were changed. And the Rebbe uses the word mizuyaf, forged. And this means also the fact that, and he understood it immediately, that it connects to the checks that were forged and that were signed in his name and that were cashed. And at that point, the Rebbe writes that there is the need for a, what is it? There is a need for a bikoret mumche bamikzoa. There is a need for a professional in the in on this topic. Okay, and the professional should give his opinion in order to go and to stop the to correct the forgery that was made in the history books. In the end of the letter, the Rebbe writes, "Bebirkat Shabbat Tov v'Sameach." At this point, he was already with tears in his eyes when he sees that the Rebbe is blessing him with the blessing of a good Shabbos and a happy Shabbos. And at that point, he decided that he has to return to the observance of Shabbos, of Shabbat as well. And with this, the shliach, the shliach parted from from Ro'i. Ro'i went home, and not just a certain amount of time went by. A short amount of time went by, and then all of a sudden, after they turned to a professional in regard to forgery of checks, the person that forged the checks, that found the checkbook, that was cashing the checks, was found, and they admitted to the crime. And not only did they admit to the crime, but obviously, when they found out that the checkbook was missing, so they canceled all the checks. But till the checkbook was canceled, so there was as we said before, an enormous amount of money that was spent and that was debited from the account. And this person also returned all the money that they took, that they cashed and they took from the account as well. And as far as this is concerned, when Ro'i showed up the next Shabbos at the Chabad house, so everyone was in a frenzy of joy, of happiness. First of all, the fact that he returned to the Chabad house for Shabbos. Okay. And second of all, when they heard the miracle that from the blessing that he received from the Rebbe in the Igros Kodesh, so miraculously within a few days, the whole matter was tended to, taken care of, and not only did they find the person that was that found the checkbook, but as we said before, all the money was returned as well. And this is something that we have to stress, we have to remember, we have to know. Not only that we're going through very difficult times and double and quadrupled darkness, whether it's spiritually or it's materially, when all that we're going through as far as the wars in the south, in the north, from the threat from Iran and so on. But as far as all this is concerned, what we have to remember is the words of the Rebbe here in this letter, that we should go and we should see to it. And even if it's just a short period of time, once a day or once a week, to learn Hasidic philosophy, to learn Hasidus, and to be able to go and to defy and to make sure that all this darkness is pushed away, and the darkness itself will be illuminated, as the Rebbe uses the words of Shlomo HaMelech, Yisrael HaChoshech min ha'or, the quality and the maila of darkness from the light. In other words, that there has to be a greater light that comes from darkness. This is something that we have to see to it, to change the light into the darkness into light, and especially coming now to the Shabbos Mevorchim, the month of Elul, the month of the month that we prepare ourselves for Rosh Hashanah. We want to wish everyone Eksiva v'chasima teva lashona teva umesuka, and with immediately now the revelation of the Rebbe Shlita Melech Ha'Moshiach, Yechi Adoneinu Moreinu v'Rabbeinu HaMelech Ha'Moshiach Chai v'Kayam le'olam voed. Amen.